Hello, Leo. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Leo is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. These readings are totally free. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Leo, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And a 10 of Cups, this is extraordinary. This is pure contentment and pure bliss. This is a fulfillment, I think that you're someone who knows what they want. I think that you have goals, you have aspirations, you have a striving in you, right? And I think that you know what is going to satisfy that. You know what it is that you want in life. You know what's going to make you happy, okay? And I think you're on the path toward getting that. Okay, Spirit's saying that that you may have been going through a period of time where you kind of feel overwhelmed by things. Like there's too much going on at once, too much pressure, too many different pulls on your energy. Okay, there may be a situation now that's affecting you emotionally that feels very heavy. It feels almost overwhelming. Okay. We've got to put this card into a little bit of context, see what the energy is in your life right now that's going to allow you to fully realize this 10 of Cups. This is a really good way to start a reading, right? We have balance, we have fairness, we have the adjustment card, we have the death card, there's the 5, see, there's the ambition, there's the striving. We've got the Fool, oh yes. We have death and rebirth, right? We have a 5 of Swords as the way forward. Okay, that we're having conversations that are difficult. We're thinking through things that are going to help us to readjust our life so that we can be fully committed to these goals and to this satisfaction. I feel like this might be the wreck because you're beset on both sides by the 5. And I think that's what's creating the 10. I think it is through your striving and your ability to always be learning and thinking through things. You don't have such a fixed and rigid or static belief system that you're not open to thinking in different ways, thinking of different things, new ideas. Perhaps the Fool is really talking about like an innovation, right, or a transcendence of what you're currently doing and getting that fresh idea. Maybe this is taking a break from some of our striving just to feel content in the moment, allow ourselves some time to just play and enjoy that 10 of Cups, right? Enjoy what we've been creating, okay? And maybe it is about more balance in our life. Over here we have a 9 of Wands. Yeah, of course we do. We've got the High Priestess. We have a 6 of Cups. And we have a Princess of Cups. I think that you're learning to enjoy the small things. I think that you're learning to trust your heart a little bit. Okay, let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set this down right over here with Tiny Bob Ross, right on top. Happy little Bob. And we're not going to look at that card until the very end, It will tie everything together and give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any point during this message you feel like you know what that card is, put your prediction in the comments, okay? Let's venture a guess, even if we don't know what it is. Let's guess. Let's be spontaneous, right? Let's start working with this Fool energy right away. And let's just throw something out there. Doesn't matter what. In fact, the least sure you are about it, the better, right? We want it to be a pure expression. We want it to just come out. We don't want to think about it. We just want it to emerge forth from us, almost of its own volition, right? And so I feel like you're probably someone who does a lot of spontaneous kind of creation, like like working with clay or something, and it's just like, it's almost a meditative process where you don't really know what you're doing. You're just sort of building something, carving, sculpting something. Maybe you do automatic writing or something along those lines. I feel like colors are very important to you as well. Spirit's saying something about like color palettes. So I don't know if this is about painting or if it's about art or redecorating, or if you're just someone who's very sensitive to colors, auras, and things like this. Okay, I feel like your aura right now is very bright. I feel like it is shining and shimmering in a just iridescent. Okay. Looking around the room, we see our major, a middle pillar of major arcana, and a little intuition in terms of your environment and your relationships. Okay? So this is very good. We've got fire and fire. We've got water and water and water. And we've got a little bit of air. What we don't have is any earth cards. Okay, so some of this energy needs to be grounded into practical things. Some of this spontaneous fool energy, some of this idea of balance, some of this idea of kind of letting go of the past, letting go of different, well, letting go of a lot of the strivings that we had at one point. I feel like you're rebalancing your life, and in a way you're saying, I don't know that I really care about all of these things anymore. You know, I feel like I just want to be happy and content with life. And maybe I need to rethink some of the things that I've been concerned about, some of the things I've been perhaps fighting for or fighting over, right? So without the earth energy, I feel like we need to ground some of this in practical things. Start a journal, start a gratitude practice, start a practice of just literally scheduling time for yourself where you could just go and play, where you could just go and just do something because it feels good. Not because there's a purpose to it, not because it's going to lead to something else or that it's going to have some benefit to you. It does have a benefit, and it will have a benefit. But with the Ten of Cups and the Fool, we're doing something just to do it. Just for the experience of it. Not because it's going to lead to, to some achievement or some kind of benefit later. Doing it is its own benefit, right? So we have this Libra energy that's crossing your path right now. I think it's difficult for you to have a balance. I feel like when you go into something, you go hard. You go all the way in. And so having a little bit of balance here might be trying to balance this kind of a work-life balance, a kind of a professional versus a personal, public versus private kind of balance here. I feel like we're rebalancing things, we're adjusting our lives a little bit. And I think it might be difficult for you to feel that balance, especially when you're beset on both sides by strife and defeat. It's kind of like a very competitive world that we live in, and you're trying to just be the fool and work on your kind of maybe your inner development, your spiritual path, but there's so much going on around you, see, that it's difficult for us to find the balance. And so we need to have those perhaps scheduled moments, and this is kind of a card of scheduling. It's kind of like, we're planning, we're like writing on the calendar what we're going to do and when, and maybe we're scheduling a little bit of fool time, I think we all need a little bit of fool time, yeah. And if we have to schedule it in between our fights and our arguments, sure, fine, let's do that, okay? Because that's going to help us to rebalance our life. And there may be a Libra person in terms of your professional life, whatever you kind of do officially, right? Whatever your work, your career, your vocation is, whatever puts you into contact with other people in a sort of business-like way, there's something going on with that person right now. And I feel like we're trying to figure out a way to negotiate or even compromise with someone or a situation to where we just can feel a little bit better, a little bit more relaxed. It's like, I don't care about that stuff anymore. Let's just put it behind us and let's just continue on with life, It feels like something is becoming less important to you. And that's putting you in a healthier and happier state of mind. Yeah. And so I don't know if it's a Libra person necessarily, but I do feel that there's some kind of a relationship where there has been a lot of arguments, a lot of fighting, a lot of trouble, a lot of disagreements or negotiation. Okay? And I think you're trying to really just put an end to it. Like you just want it to be done so you can relax, so you can feel good, so we can, again, kind of let it go and enjoy the future. We see a lot of great things over here. We see pleasure. We see a lot of new interests, new ideas, new feelings coming up, right? A lot of fun activities, yeah. But over here, we see the fives. And the Five of Wands in the background here, this is the recent past. There was that argument. There was that fight. There was that conflict or competition. Okay? And maybe it was a work thing. Maybe it was literally like an argument with a loved one or something. I feel like it's more professional than anything. Or it could be something personal, but it has that kind of like paperwork vibe to it, right? So it feels professional to me. Okay? It could be something with a family member. It could be over money or property or something that's over that maybe we're fighting about the schedule or something like this. So it has a professional tone to it. But, this is the recent past, and I think that we're trying to just let go of this frustration. Maybe there's a little bit of anger here. Okay? And you do have this ability to kind of let things go. It's almost like just put it behind us. Maybe there is really no resolution to it. Maybe it's not something where we can say, okay, you're right, I'm wrong, or vice versa, and we can come to that kind of conclusion. Maybe this literally just has to be like quashed completely and just say, forget it. Let's just wipe it clean and start over. Okay? Because I don't think we're not looking for this. This isn't contributing to your happiness, to that Ten of Cups. This really wonderful contentment. The Ten of Cups is saying, I have everything I need. I don't need anything else. I've got just the right amount of pleasure. I got the right amount of work. I got the right amount of free time. It's like we have our life in perfect balance, and this is what we're trying to maintain. So one thing, we have to put this behind us. Okay. Now, the Death card underneath, it kind of shows your awareness, your unconscious awareness, I think, that life is going to continue to evolve and change. And we have to be willing to adapt to life in order to kind of maintain our own personal equilibrium. Let's see how that work-life balance, that things are always going to be changing. So it's like we can't really have any hard and fast rules for life, because life is always evolving and growing and changing, as are we, as is everything. The Death card is all about the nature of nature. The fundamental force of the universe is change. Everything is always in flux. It may seem like things aren't changing, but the Death card reminds us that it's like a flow of water over a landscape that over thousands of years will change the shape of the landscape. And we may not see it on a day-to-day basis. It rains here all the time. In fact, I think it's snowing right now. We don't see it changing the landscape, but give it a while, right? And all that rain that comes every season and all the water and snow and wind and stuff, it's going to end up changing it, right? So we realize that we cannot, and we are not. There's no way it's not even possible for us to stay the same. So we're always in this state of trying to maintain the equilibrium of our lives, make these little adjustments. So maybe one day it says, hey, you know what? I need a little bit more. I need a little bit more fun. I need a little bit more pleasure in my life. I need a little bit more, like, I want to focus on my hobbies a little bit more. Or like we're realizing, I'm worried about too many things that really aren't important. I need to rebalance. I need more meditation in my life. I need a little bit more of that spiritual connection. I want to do a little bit more of my art. And we're always trying to find that balance. Okay? Because we find it, and then it's like we have to maintain it because things are always changing, right? So the Death card is our ability to kind of let things go and realize that we have to deal with what's right in front of us, and we have to find a way to adapt and continue to grow along with life, so we can stay in harmony, so that we can always be, let's say, inching closer to our full contentment. And I think with the 10, this is the dream come true. Okay, this is the dream come true. I think that you've been fighting and striving for something in your life. I think that we are realizing it has been a very slow process. But maybe it's time now to realize that we're building the dream, that the dream is happening, it's real, and it's here. Now it's our duty to kind of maintain that and to prioritize our life and to be discerning. What things are happening in life that are kind of threatening this contentment, this bliss, this dream come true energy? Okay? The adjustment card very much is about discernment. We're judging things, you know. We're judging the relative value of things. And so we're judging both of these things. We're kind of saying, what am I allowing into my present? This is my present moment. What am I allowing into my present moment? The worries and fights of the past? No, death card saying, I don't want to worry about these things anymore. I'm letting go of all of that, right? And then what about in the future? What am I going to allow? Am I going to worry about the future? Well, no, right? Because the death card says the only thing that really matters is this present moment. The only thing that we really have to deal with is what's happening right now. Of course, we do want to plan for the future. That's not really what this is about. This is about the stress, the worry about tomorrow, right? Well, tomorrow's not here yet. There's stuff we need to do today, right? So I think that we're trying to keep at bay the amount of stress that we have in our lives, trying to maintain that balance in our external world, our internal balance, and of course the balance between the two, in order to realize this dream. Okay? In a very practical way, I feel like you've been striving for something. You've been working on your dream here with the Five of Wands. You're achieving it. The dream is coming true. But there is always more stress that's going to come your way. This is not the end of the road, right? We know that, okay, well, there's going to be more challenges. I'm going to have to think about things and find a way. It's not just completely fool energy, right? This would be perfect. I've worked hard, I've achieved my dream, and now I'm free, and that's it. Bon voyage, right? No, it's we realize that everything is changing. We have to try to maintain our balance, and we know that there's going to be more things to worry about later, tomorrow. New challenges will always arise that we're going to have to then protect this dream come true, right? We're going to have to, this is the wish that has been granted. This is your dream life, coming about. There's going to be a lot more things that we have to sort of deal with, okay? But the Fool is not really concerned. The Fool is enjoying the moment, right? The Fool is at least having that scheduled free time, the Fool time. And I think the Fool is free of the past and free of the future, and it's for maybe a brief moment that we can transcend this kind of process of life flowing on, and there's always balance and restructuring, and there's always communication that needs to take place. There's always something to think about and something to do and something to work on and all this stuff. For a moment, the Fool can transcend that. So this is almost like a spiritual experience. Yeah. This is kind of like a moment where we take ourselves out of space and time and we're just free. We just exist. We're just being, right? So we have to really schedule those moments in sometimes. We have to make sure that we take intentional time where we can transcend the human world and just feel our spirit, and do our creative thing. Or maybe this is meditation. Maybe this is prayer, worship. Maybe this is being out in nature. Maybe this is running, or exercise or painting or drawing or music. Sometimes we just put on the headphones and we listen to music and all of our cares melt away. They're still there when we take the headphones off, So eventually the Fool comes back down and says, all right, what's going on? What do I got to deal with? There's always going to be some drama, I think we're trying to eliminate that and find a way to deal with the drama, because having your dream come true does not mean you are free from the past or from the future. Okay? There's still going to be things to think about and adapt to and adjust, in the future here with that the Five of Swords. So again, looking at it very linearly, you worked very hard for your goal. You're achieving your dream, but there's going to be a challenge in your very very near future. Okay. On the path of the Serpent, you got your strength. You got your resilience. Now, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. These readings are totally free, okay? Now, I do feel like you've been doing something in the kitchen. There's been some kind of a remodel or some kind of a painting thing that maybe you paint pictures in the kitchen, or you're painting a picture of the kitchen or of the view through the kitchen window. I don't know why I'm feeling paint and kitchen together. I don't know exactly why. Yeah, also there's a G in your person. I don't think it's God, goddess, it could be. But a G, maybe, I don't know, grandma or grandpa, something like this. But there's a G named person or someone that you call G or something like that. Yeah, that's very close to you. I believe in spirit. Yeah, it feels like that's an initial that's very close, very important to you. The Nine of Wands is your general energy. You're a strong person, right? You, and the way that we maintain this strength and our resilience and our ability to handle problems. Strength is really our ability to do work, right? It's our ability to handle the challenges that life throws at us, and life always will, right? The Fool is pure air. So the Fool is not participating in any of these challenges. Any of this life stuff, the Fool is just floating like a feather in the wind, right? Nothing really affects it. The Nine of Wands is your ability to be here in this human world and boldly and confidently face your challenges and overcome them. Okay? And it is because of your commitment to your dream, to this contentment, this bliss, this, the happy life, dream come true life of the Ten of Cups that kind of fuels your strength. If it wasn't for this Ten of Cups, I don't think that we would even be so concerned with anything else. I don't know that we would have the strength. The strength comes from your connection to your purpose, from your realization that life can be this dream come true right now. Okay, and I think that you are achieving this dream come true, and the Nine of Wands becomes your ability to, the strength for rebalancing and maintaining the equilibrium, and your strength to kind of deal with the challenges that will be there in the future. This is a connection with a purpose, right? And when we are connected with our purpose, and it's kind of fueling us, it's giving us motivation. It is encouraging us. Our purpose, it kind of gives us the energy when there was no energy there before, The Fool, we would just float away in our Fool energy if it wasn't for our purpose, because the Fool is just kind of drifting to one thing to the other, just searching for novelty, just kind of being free, living a very nomadic kind of spiritual existence, and it's great. This kind of grounds us a little bit. This connects us with something that says, I've got a purpose, I've got a mission, I got something to work hard for, I've got something to defend, I've got something to maintain, I've got something to take care of, whatever it is for you. Okay, so I find that you're a very strong and resilient person, and I feel that whatever this kind of drama is in the near future, it's going to be no match for you. Okay. I think that it's a strength that you're going to invoke in order to kind of remember what's important to you. And maybe that's part of our death card, is that we're going to kind of let that stuff go too, because this Ten of Cups is the most important thing. And this, if it's threatening our Ten of Cups, your strength is your ability to kind of get out of that, avoid that, minimize this. Even if it offends you, even if it offends your pride or something, this is some drama or some entanglement that is not worth it. Sometimes our strength is our ability to resist the urge to get involved in some entanglement, right? Because of this High Priestess here, I feel like you're going to want to listen to your intuition rather than listening to your kind of your mind and your emotions, your anger here. If we get angry, if this is a frustrating thing that's taking place for you, either now or from the past, and then maybe it's being revisited here, or something is drawing you into this entanglement, you want to follow your intuition, not your human instinct to jump in, get involved, and wrestle with the thing. Okay? This is something that I think Spirit wants you to kind of I don't know, avoid, like realize like it's not worth getting into that fight again. It's not worth having that argument. You're going to be tempted to. Something's kind of going to pop off here with the Five of Swords. And you're going to want to get in and voice your opinion, maybe rather strongly. But the real show of strength is your ability to control yourself and to withhold the expression of your feelings and your emotions and maybe your anger or frustration, right? The High Priestess is trying to show you the way to your best life, trying to show you the way to the Ten of Cups, really showing you the way to the Empress, card number 2, card number 3. And so your intuition is trying to tell you that something is happening in this relationship of yours, whether it's the work thing or the family thing. Your impulse is going to be to fight and argue and yell and get involved, right? But Spirit wants you to realize that there's a deeper purpose here. And so the question really becomes, getting involved in this drama, is this serving your Ten of Cups, or is this kind of almost a distraction? Is this literally an entanglement that's sort of pulling you away and keeping you from your Ten of Cups? So I think the High Priestess is trying to help you by revealing something in this. This is the position of your relationships. Okay, trying to give you some secret inside information here that's saying, look, something's going to try to pull you into some drama. Avoid it. Avoid it or minimize it or resolve it as quickly as you can in order to maintain the balance. Maybe it's kind of saying like, look, we need diplomacy, we need a compromise, not an argument, not a fight. Okay, you could be beset, like I said, beset on both sides of you with this fighting energy. You've got to be the voice of reason. You've got to maintain the balance and the equilibrium and maybe even, kind of facilitate the compromise. Maybe you're going to be like a mediator between two different parties that are kind of involved in this thing. It may be Spirit's way of saying, whatever you do, don't take sides. Strive for a balance. Strive for a compromise. Strive for a very quick resolution. Okay? And that's going to make everybody happier. And that's going to do a lot for your peace of mind. That's going to do a lot for your joy, your pleasure. It's going to feel good, okay, to kind of get out of this entanglement. Now, the Six of Cups in the difficult position here, it's kind of the obstacle, and it's a card of pleasure, right? And it maybe is the card that we kind of have a problem accepting, okay? Because, again, we're sort of... we're in the fives here on both sides of us. What we really want is the 6, even though the 6 is difficult. And the 6 is kind of like, we're all family. We're all friends, And that's what's telling me that maybe this is a family thing, but there's some kind of a business-like argument going on, like about property or money or about the estate or some kind of paperwork, something, right? This is that card that reminds us that, hey, we're all in this together. We're all family. There is a connection here. But this is kind of the difficult thing, right? And this is sometimes a card of tranquility. So I think you're really striving for that tranquility, but it's difficult for us to find the tranquility when in front of us and behind us we have this fighting energy. I mean, this is a lot of argument, a lot of words being thrown around, a lot of feelings coming up, a lot of animosity and friction, and how we're trying to maintain this very peaceful, Fool kind of tranquility here in the middle of the storm, and it's difficult, right? And that, I think, is a skill. That's something that we have to practice. We have to practice finding a place inside of us of peace and calm and contentment, even when there's a friggin' storm around us, right? Even when everybody around us is yelling and screaming, and we just find this kind of peacefulness, And it's something that we can cultivate. Okay, and it may literally be a meditative practice for you, where we practice in those moments of chaos in life, that we close our eyes, we breathe, we do a guided meditation, right? You can find, I'm starting to do a couple of them here on the channel. You can find a guided meditation here to pull us out of those moments. I think we need to cultivate those moments that kind of just say, I am happy, I am contented, I am at peace. at least for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then I'll wake up and I'll get back to work and I'll figure this thing out and I'll balance life and I'll adapt to the, I'll continue to grow and evolve and do all that stuff that the world needs, So sometimes the Six of Cups is our difficulty relaxing. Our difficulty relaxing, okay? The Princess, though, the Princess of Cups is kind of my favorite. It's the fish in the percolator. It kind of says, like, just do something out of the ordinary. Let your heart or your curiosity, let your desires, let the magic and mystery of life just lead you into something new. It's my Twin Peaks card. There's the fish in the percolator. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the fish in the percolator. Let's conversate with the fish in the percolator, right? Let's find the uncanny. Let's find the magic in the moment. Let's find the extra in the ordinary, right? As a way of transcending all of this. I mean, this is the stuff that happens. It's chaotic. Sometimes it's a little bit of BS, some drama, and it's just life, right? It's just the busyness of life, right? Finding that little sparkling something or other in the bushes there that's like, hey, what's that? And we go down the rabbit hole, kind of following the white rabbit a little bit. Sometimes we have to find ways in life intentionally to do that. And if we have to schedule it in, we schedule it in. We're scheduling it. And even if it's, we schedule 15 minutes in the morning to do a little meditation or some breath work or some active imagination. This card is very fun, active imagination. Okay. Listening to music, doing something that is for its own sake, but doing something that we desire to do, something that is invoking our curiosity. Okay. Something that we feel just kind of a magnetic draw to it. It's a sign from the universe. When we're looking out at the world and something catches our eye, some weird thing that is there but shouldn't be there, right? Follow the sign, follow the breadcrumbs that Spirit's leading, that the Spirit is leaving out for you. Okay, so that we can find that state of transcendence and tranquility and contentment. Okay, so active imagination, kind of following the fantastical, magical, dream-like qualities of life, right? Intentionally looking for those. If we don't look for synchronicities, it's very likely we won't ever find any. There was a time in my life where I was like, I never get any synchronicity. I can never find, it's because I wasn't really looking for it. I wanted it, and I would think about it, but I would never, in the moments, right, just be open and just looking at life and being receptive to what my soul is doing and what the world is, and just to be in that energy where it's like I'm just witnessing the energy, And so I feel like the Princess of Cups is us letting our bodies be guided by that soul, that imagination, that heart. It's not necessarily the emotions, but it's the desire, the feelings, the curiosity, the dream-like images, right? And I think this card is telling you to write your dreams down. And find this is the homework. Find a symbol in your dream. Okay? Write your dreams down for a few days or whatever it takes. And get just a list. You don't have to write the narrative. I was on a bus, we went to school, I lost my school books. No, but just like write down the symbols. School bus, books, getting lost. Write down the brief phrases, the fragments of images. And take any one of those symbols, the one that speaks to you the most. Okay, maybe it's the school bus, maybe it's the books, maybe there's a certain a coin or something, right? Or there's maybe it's a fish, and maybe it's in a percolator. But find that symbol, find that dream symbol of yours, and sort of hold it with you throughout the day, and be open to receiving whatever the universe is going to send your way that may connect with that fish in the percolator, right? And then maybe you'll have that synchronicity, but I feel like we have to kind of hold that intention And we have to hold our awareness. We have to kind of move into a passive state even, right? To be receptive. Because what we see with the 5s here, very active energies, even the 9, very active energies. The 10, the 6, even the Princess of Cups and the High Priestess, very passive energy. Even the Fool, very passive energies. Receiving. What's the, let's enter that state of passive receptivity, even though we're used to, in our daily life, working, striving, ambition, getting things done, adapting, figuring out new plans, and that sort of thing. Okay? Let's look at the mystery card. I want a 9 of Cups, maybe a 10 of Cups. I think the Empress would be great. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. Here we go. 5 of Pentacles. More striving, but at least we have the Earth energy. So at least all this energy now, like I said, we have to ground it. We have to put it into some kind of practical behaviors, right? So this might be us like literally taking time away from our busy schedule, taking 5 minutes to meditate, taking 10 minutes to just sit there and look at the grass and just like be open to the universe and like look at the clouds. It's kind of like taking time to not focus on anything, right? You know how with our visual field, we're always like looking at something. There's always something that we're focusing on and that's drawing our attention. What if we just sort of loosely and passively scan the environment? We're not really looking at anything, right? And we'll see what kind of magic happens. But we've got to put it into behavior. So we have a 5. We have something to do. We have a planned activity, So again, we kind of have to schedule it in because you're kind of in a 5 mode. 5, 9, you're in a very active mode right now in your life. So let's actively invoke the contentment, the peace, the tranquility, the transcendence, and the fish in the percolator awareness. Okay. So I think especially now with the 5 and the 5 and the 5, we're grounding this energy. We're finding practical solutions. Whatever this drama is going to be resolved. I'm not even really worried about that. What I seems to be focused on is your inner contentment and tranquility. That seems to be difficult for you because there's always something going on. There's always something to do. So let's make something to do. The kind of nothing, Let's find one of these practices. Let's put something into. Let's start a new behavior, I guess, right? Or focus more on one of those behaviors. If you're already doing those things, you already have tools in your toolbox. Maybe it's time to revisit them. Okay. Now we're going to do an extended reading. We'll do an I Ching hexagram. We'll do some oracle cards. There's a link up top. There's a link down below. New readings for Leo Tuesdays and Saturdays. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. These readings are totally free. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you, and we're all in this together.